Hey guys, thanks for tuning into another video. I was just doing my usual stuff, checking out stuff online, what's going on in the news and this and that, and I came across this article from the Far Out magazine in the UK, Rian Johnson's major Star Wars regret, and I thought I should read this with you guys because I don't know of Rian Johnson ever really saying he regrets anything about anything. In fact, he kind of thinks it's funny that he divides fan bases and just is selfish. So anyways, let's find out what this guy's saying here. Comfortably the most polarizing and divisive installment in the franchise that spawned 11 feature films over the course of almost half a century, The Last Jedi placed Rian Johnson in the line of fire from many Star Wars fans. To this day, even mentioning the movie to a supporter of the saga is guaranteed to generate a reaction, whether it be positive or negative. The thing with it is, it's one thing to make mistakes and all that type of stuff, like JJ made mistakes, but JJ, and as much as I will call out JJ's two films all day, every day, I don't really talk about his personality or person because he's not an arrogant jerk, and he doesn't like go out of his way to tick people off, and he doesn't say things like, I made my Star Wars movie for me. It's like, what? Like, really, Ryan? Like, make your Star Wars movie for the fans, how about? It's not about you. And so that's why Rian Johnson gets a lot of personal negative attention, quite a bit more than J.J. Abrams does, because as much as J.J. Abrams movies were also piss poor, they weren't as bad as The Last Jedi, but they were piss poor. He doesn't have that personality trait of, I'm still the best ever and screw everybody else up. He even admitted they didn't have a plan, that they should have. Like, he admits to making mistakes. Rian Johnson doesn't do that. For some, Episode 8 is regarded as one of the finest entries in Star Wars canon, one that willfully sacrificed the nostalgia-heavy elements of The Force Awakens in favor of a bold deconstruction of the mythos. For others, it torpedoed everything they wanted Star Wars to be, ruined the character of Luke Skywalker, and undid much of the character work established in the previous chapter to act as more of a standalone film than a direct successor to Episode 7. Personally, I don't even care if it was a successor. It's just what they did to Luke, and there's so many other stupid plot points. There's even a couple of universities that are using it as a way not to write. So that's, Johnson is fully aware he made a cosmic blockbuster that just as many people loved as loathed. No. I don't think just as many people loved as loathed. I think a lot more people loathe than love. I think that there's some loud lovers that all they do is talk about how great Rian Johnson is and how great The Last Jedi is, but there's way more people that talk about how crappy it is than there is that love it. I find that totally ridiculous. But that isn't his biggest regret. Instead, the inability to screen the film or test audiences stands out as a score point, which is ironic considering it would have offered an early indication of the deafening noise, both good and bad, that was about to come. Spoiler culture in the internet age has made it increasingly difficult for any high-profile feature to arrive in cinema with all of its big secrets kept intact, with NDAs often not worth the price of paper they're printed on. So NDA is a non-disclosure agreement where you view the screening and then you're not allowed to tell anyone until it comes out, which, yeah, how are you going to stop people? They're on the internet as aliases, blah, blah, blah. As a result, Disney and Lucasfilm were adamant that The Last Jedi be withheld from anyone who could potentially leak its most important aspects online until the day of its theatrical debut, something Johnson begrudgingly accepted. Now, I looked into this a little bit, and apparently they're saying that they didn't do screenings of The Force Awakens or The Rise of Skywalker. The Force Awakens there's not a lot of information on. However, there's a lot of rumors and people saying that they absolutely did ones in Rise of Skywalker, and that's what led to just the endless reshoots right up until like 2 weeks. They didn't even finally finish the editing totally until 2 weeks before it came out, which is unheard of. Usually 2 months before it came out is a really close proximity. So they do that, and again, if they did do that in the in the Rise of Skywalker, it's probably because The Last Jedi was so poorly received that they felt like they had to. And they revealed before the movie was released that Palpatine was coming back. They had his laugh in the trailer, so there wasn't really this big reveal like there was with Han Solo being killed, for example, in The Force Awakens. But I'm sure the reason they did this test screenings for The Rise of Skywalker was because The Last Jedi was just despised. Speaking on the special features of the Knives Out home video release, the filmmaker lamented the call made from above his pay grade. You can't test Star Wars movies for a lot of different reasons. I've always hated test screening, and when we're making Star Wars, at a certain point in the process, you're like, God, I would give my left arm to put this in front of 300 people in Burbank just to see how it plays. Why though, bro? Like, you don't care if it divides audiences. You said that multiple times.
I would be worried if everybody across the board was like, yeah, that was a good movie. It's much more exciting to me when you get, a group of people who are like coming up to you and really, really excited about it, and you know it's going to be something that they're having their DVD collection. And then there are other people who walk out just, I mean, literally saying that was the worst movie I've ever seen. Having those two extremes to me is, you know, is the mark of the type of movie that I want to make. So
beyond that, the Brick director harbors no other regrets or misgivings over his time spent in the Star Wars sandbox, regardless of how heavily it split opinion. In fact, when he was asked that exact question by Gizmodo, he answered in the negative. No, that's one thing I can say, that I put everything into a Star Wars movie that I could possibly want in a Star Wars movie. So hey Ryan, do you have regrets? No. That's one thing I can say that I put everything into a Star Wars movie that I could possibly want in a Star Wars movie. Well, way to go. You impressed yourself and divided the fan base. Congratulations for doing it for you instead of anybody else. It's too bad Peter Jackson didn't make Lord of the Rings for him and his friends instead of Tolkien and the writing and the fans. It's too bad we didn't get his wanted version. That being said, he did acknowledge that it wasn't greeted rapturously by everyone. I had my chance at the plate. I swung. That's one thing I don't feel any regrets about or anything like that. At the end of the day, he did exactly what he wanted to do, regardless of which side of the Last Jedi fence. Exactly. He did exactly what he wanted to do. And that's a big problem. You think, for example, okay, everybody brings up Empire, right? And there are a small contingent of Star Wars fans that'll be like, oh, The Last Jedi's Empire, it's just as good as Empire, it's so amazing. But the real big difference between the two films, other than, of course, the plot line, everything else that takes place, but Kirshner directed Empire. But George was still around, right? And there were other guys that were still around. It wasn't like it was just like he directed it, he made every single decision, everything was his, blah. No, he had a lot of people, whereas Rian Johnson seems to imply that everything was him. He didn't have any outside influence. It's, I did what I wanted to do. I swung. He doesn't say we, he doesn't say the group. It's always him. So either he's a total narcissist or it was just him. He made all the decisions. Nobody else had a say. Obviously, Mark Hamill's already voiced that he had no say. And Rian Johnson said, nope, this is what you're doing, and he did it. All that to say, that's a big difference, and that's a different type of personality, and there's a lot of ego there. And ego's okay. Ego, you know, in high stress and high risk, high reward professions is good. You need a certain amount of ego. You need to be sure of yourself. You don't want to be this timid person that doesn't know what they're doing. But at the same time, man, buddy, just accept the fact that you screwed up. And I really thought that this was going to be about that he had a regret, a level of like, oh, you know, it's too bad we didn't do more for the fans. I really wish I would have, you know, made Luke a little more like Luke, because that's what a lot of fans wanted. And as I say in most of my videos, the people that like The Last Jedi would have liked anything that they did. If they had made Luke, they still would have liked it, because they like anything Star Wars. It doesn't matter what they put on screen. So why would you alienate the other people when those people would have accepted it anyway? But he still won't say any regret. And so this headline was misleading. He doesn't regret anything. He doesn't care. This is very disappointing. I was hoping for a human to be under that skin suit. Anyways, guys, thanks for listening. Let me know in the comment section what you think. Do you think he even would have changed it if there was screenings? I don't know. He implies that maybe he would have, maybe he wouldn't have, maybe his ego wouldn't have let him. Doesn't seem to care now, so who knows. But it's not really a regret, because he doesn't regret anything anyway. I would give my left arm to put this in front of 300 people in Burbank just to see how it plays. But why, Ryan? Because you won't say you regret anything. You want to say that everything you did was just fine and I did my thing. I took my swing. Anyways, let me know in the comment section what you guys think. Is this just another... Should Rian Johnson just keep quiet? Just don't say anything, Ryan. Just go off into the sunset. Let me know in the comment section what you think of this guy, what he did with the movie, and of course, whether or not he should have any regrets whatsoever or not, or whatever. What would you if you were him? Thanks for listening, guys. Thanks for watching. As usual, if you do like this content, please like and subscribe. Always helps the channel. Feel free to check out my other content, as well as my Star Wars sequels reimagined, and have yourselves a really good day.